every case. And you have to pick which function this particular case is. All right? Every time you see a nominative word now, you're going to have to say, okay, is it a subject or is it the thing I'm about to describe later in the lecture? So here with the genitive, we know that we have possessive. With the dative, we know, okay, we got indirect object. With the accusative, yeah, direct object. Okay, good. Nominative, subject, simple, hallelujah. All right. So with the genitive, dative, and accusative now, though, we're adding object of the preposition for each one. So that's nice. It's the same function for each of these. So how do we know? How do we know if a genitive word that we see is a possessive word? Should we use of with it? Or should we not? Maybe it's the object of the preposition. How do we know? Well, this is the beautiful thing about prepositions. Whenever you see a preposition, you should you should begin your parentheses right in front of it. And you should be looking for the noun or pronoun that comes after it. And the first noun or pronoun that comes after it is going to be typically your object of that preposition. And so basically, if any of these genitives, datives, or accusatives have a preposition in front of it, then it's got to be the object. It's got to be the object. It can't be a direct object. It can't be an indirect object. It can't be possessive. Does that make sense? So all of these lead to different translations. You do not use of with the object of the preposition in the genitive. You only use that for possessive. You do not use to or for with the dative indirect object. You simply just translate the word as it is. Okay. Does that make sense? Because it's a different function. The translation comes from the function, so we have different functions. All right, so let's look at some more specific Greek prepositions so that we can get our. So I said that some prepositions are ones that you might really enjoy, like in, which only takes the dative. Okay? Ace, which means into, always takes an object in the accusative. All right? It never takes an object in the dative or the genitive. Never. It's always in the accusative. That's great. Now, sometimes, though, a preposition like dia, when it has the genitive that follows it, it means through. But when you have dia followed by the accusative, it means, anybody know? On account of, exactly. Yeah, separate preposition, exactly. See, Greek is kind of, it's beautifully efficient, but then it's frustratingly efficient sometimes too. So, some people have different ways of looking at it. All right, so when you have dia plus the genitive, it means through blank, through the bus, through the church. All right? When you have dia plus the accusative, it means on account of the church, or on account of Jesus, or on account of this. Does that make sense? The meaning of the preposition changes based on the case of the object. The meaning of the preposition changes based on the case of the object. Now, sometimes your Greek skills are really challenged because you have a preposition that changes its meaning in 3 different ways based on the 3 different case possibilities. Meta with the genitive means from. Meta with the dative in the object of the preposition means, anybody? Nothing else? What am I thinking? Hara, not meta. My bad. Add my notes. Messed up. Start again. Gotta get my rhythm back here. Thank you, Dave. That's right. -2. Okay. So when we have para with a genitive object, para with a dative object, and para with an accusative object, it means 3 different things. So para with the genitive means from blank. Okay, so maybe our genitive is kuriu. See that okay? Kuriu. So this would mean from the Lord. Para with the dative, let's say our dative is still kurios, but now we'll put it into the dative. So to kurio. Now this would mean in the presence of, beside or in the presence of. In the presence of. And then para plus the accusative, let's use kurios again. Ton kurion. We have alongside of. So para, the meaning of para changes on the basis of the case of this object. Now, not all prepositions are like this. Not all have 3 different options. Some have just 1. Some have 2. And so I would recommend to you that when you're studying these for vocab, that you take each preposition and its option. Maybe, so for example, you should have para plus the genitive as 1 vocab card. All right. So whenever you see para plus the genitive, it means from. And then you should have a separate vocab card for para plus the dative in the presence of. You should have a separate again for para plus the dative. Same thing for dia, which has 2 different meanings. These are something that you'll have to just continually work on. And it seems overwhelming with all the different options, but I wanted to be sure that that you knew that. I think that the best thing is to simply take them as they are, as if they were different words, because they really have a totally different meaning.